Hey guys. So, I am here to do my November wrap up. I read, this is so insane. I read 32 books in the month of November. I was about to say we're not going to talk about it, but like that's exactly what we're here to do. So like, let's just get on into it. Also, I'm sorry, a lot of these books I read through my library, either e-copy or audiobook, so I will be having to put the covers up here. I only have a few that I have the physical copies of. So, fun. But yeah, so mainly because I just don't own that many middle grades. It's just something that I've lately been getting into. The book I read this month was A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. This is not something that I had ever read before. It was new for me. And it was way different than whatever I expected it. Because all I really knew about it before I ever read it was just, you know, the very opening line that everybody quotes like to you endlessly. It was a dark and stormy night. And for some reason, I had this entire idea of something completely different than what it was, which is fine because I mean I still enjoyed what it actually ended up being. But yeah, it's just funny the things that people will tell you about something and that will make you think about it in a completely different way. So yeah, that's fun. As for the prompt, a book that was adapted for Believeathon. I'm gonna try to tell you what prompts these actually fulfilled. The next book I read was The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valente, and yeah, that was a lot, and that was for read a short book because it was actually pretty short, and once again, not what I thought this book was going to be when I picked it up. It was a lot darker than I thought it was going to be. I think I talked about this in the reading vlog. It was a lot darker than I thought it was going to be. So that was really fun, and I wasn't expecting it, and I did really enjoy it. I thought it was fun, and I would be interested to read, I think there's a sequel, so I would love to read that and just see where things ended up, because it was a lot that was going on, which is why I was so shocked when I realized how short it was, because I was like, are you sure? Because I feel like we went on a whole thing. So yeah, but it was pretty good. And then the next book I read was Rainbow Grey by Lauren Ellen Anderson, and that was for the read an adventure prompt. And this was super fucking cute. I read it on my tablet because it had a lot of illustrations in it, and they were like really beautiful and stuff, and that kind of thing just doesn't come across great on a Kindle. If you know, you know. I have a Kindle, but the illustrations and stuff like that just doesn't come across very well on that, so it's better to like read it on like a tablet in a Kindle app. So that's what I did, and it was a really, really good time doing it that way, and I think I got like the full effect of the illustrations, and I thought that they were just gorgeous and beautiful, and they really added a lot to the story. So that was great. Next book I read was Malamander by Thomas Taylor, which was like the book of Believeathon because everybody and their mother was reading Malamander this month. Like literally everyone was reading it this month. It was so funny, but I totally get why, because it was so cute. It's all about this boy who is like the lost and found guy at this hotel, and he's like 12 years old, and he has like his own office and a uniform, and it's just so cute. And this girl shows up, and she's like, I was left at this hotel when I was a baby, and she's trying to find her parents. So she's like, I'm lost and I want them to find me, and like whatever. So anyway, they go on like this kind of adventure. He's helping her like figure out her past and just all these things. It's real good. And that was for the read a book with a map prompt. Next one I read was A Royal Guide to Monster Slaying by Kelly Armstrong, which was all about this set of twins. The girl is more interested in being the monster hunter than ruling the kingdom, but in their world, basically, I think it's the older one rules and the younger one is the monster hunter or something like that. I don't think it's necessarily the girl rules and the boy hunts. I think it's birth order, and because they were twins, it was only like a 2-minute difference or something like that. Anyway, doesn't matter. But she ends up convincing them that she should be the one that is hunting and that her brother should rule because they're both better at the other thing than they are at what they're supposed to be good at. The book I read was The Dragon in the Library by Louis Stowell, which this is such a short book, I can't really tell you much about it without spoiling it, but it's basically about this group of friends that one of them doesn't really like reading, but the two other friends of the group really love to read, and before they go out and do what they're doing for fun that day, they're like, we have to go to the book and we have to get the last book in this series that we're obsessed with because, oh my god, everybody else is going to want it and we're not going to be able to get it. And I just thought that was so cute. And then basically things happen when they're in the library. So it was really cute. It's really fast. I highly recommend it. It's got a lot more to it than you think it's going to. I find, and it's the younger side of middle grade, so it's definitely young. But again, I really enjoyed it. I thought it did a great job. And this was for like the prompt that was like a creature in the title. What I read was Night Books. Sorry. The Royal Guide, that was for the sibling relationship, and then Night Books by J.A. White, that fulfills the scary book prompt. And I loved this book. Like, it might have been one of my favorites of the month looking back, because when I was reading it, I was so engrossed in what was happening, and I was just like living for it, and there were some twists and turns that I did not expect, and I just had the best time when I was reading this book. So you should go read it. I have not watched the Netflix adaptation, so I cannot speak to any of that, but the book is great. It was The Adventurer's Guide to Successful Escapes by Wade Albert White, and that was a book with your favorite color because it had this really pretty like blue turquoisey color. And this was so cute. Basically, it's all about this girl who has grown up in an orphanage, and basically when they turn 13, they get on a ship and they're able to leave the orphanage, and sometimes they get invited to go to academy. Not anything like that, but even still they get to go, and they go to like this other like workplace or something. But it's still better than the orphanage because the orphanage is just bad. But on like the last day, there's like some mix up and shit with like her birthday and like tickets for the boat that takes them away from the orphanage, and like there's a mysterious person that comes to her and tells her that she's been accepted into this academy she's never heard of and all that stuff, and her best friend end up on this crazy adventure going to this academy and all this stuff. It's really good and I recommend it. I had never heard of it before, but I was fascinated. Next book I read was All the Impossible Things by Lindsay Lackey, and this was for the prompt, a book that you think will surprise you, which I think this definitely did. This was all about a girl who was having a hard time because her mother was like not being the type of mom she should be. She was having a drug problem and things, and she ended up losing custody of her, and she went into foster care, and she's been bounced around from different families to different families, and she finally ends up at this very nice older couple, and they have like a farm and animals and all kinds of stuff, and they're really sweet to her and they really love her, and it's like the best situation for her. But her mom is also coming back into her life because she is trying to straighten up her act so she can get her daughter back and all this stuff, and you just go on this journey of just really being inside her head and seeing where she's at with everything, and I thought that was great. And as someone who has like a mother kind of like that, I was just feeling things the entire time. So, and then the next book was Museum of Thieves by Liam Tanner, and I think I talked about this in the vlog that I read it, but it just wasn't what I wanted it to be. It just wasn't. I just really expected something else and I didn't get it, and I thought what we did get just wasn't as good, and I was kind of sad about it, so yeah. But it was for the prompt, a release before 2021. I read was Never Seen by Shannon Messenger. This is the 4th book in Keeper of the Lost City series. And this is like one of my favorite series of all time now. It's just so good. I love it so much. These characters, I'm obsessed with them. Keith is like literally my entire world. I love him so much. And I'm just like, this also left on a big ass cliffhanger, and so I'm just like, I just want to read the next book. But I'm also like sick of middle grade, so it probably won't. But yeah, it was so good. I loved it so much. This was probably my favorite book I read the entire month. This was a 5 out of 5. Makers by Tasman Merchant. And this is a book that Gavin has highly recommended like 10 times over. So I had high hopes for it, but I didn't get it. I mean, I got it. Like, it's not like I didn't understand, but I don't get what the appeal is, I guess. Because for me, you say hat makers and I am immediately like, Mad Hatter. Yes. Sign me up. And it just wasn't that. And that would have been fine. But like, I don't know, the way it was talked about, it was like, seemed like it was supposed to be like so magical and whimsical and everything. And I just felt like it wasn't. I don't know. It was just missing something for me. And I'm sure like other people, like, it's probably great and amazing, but yeah, it wasn't what I wanted, and so I gave it like a 3-star. Like, I don't really rate my books that much anymore. Like, I kind of just, in my head, I'm like, I know what I think about them, but I'd give it like a 3-star. Like, it was very middle of the road. It wasn't, I just had, maybe my expectations were too high. But that was actually for the prompt. That was a Gavin recommendation. Because like I said, 10 times over. Read was A Seeing Stone. Well, let's see. The next few books I read all of the Spiderwick Chronicles books. So I read The Seeing Stone, Lucinda's Secret, The Ironwood Tree, and The Wrath of Malgrath. Because I got them from the library and I was like, I'm just gonna put this in a vlog where I read all the Spiderwick Chronicles books. I had already read the first one, so I read the next 4, so that's what that was. I enjoyed them. I thought they were cute and fun. I probably would have liked them more if I had read them as a kid, but here we are. Alright, next up I read The Strange Worlds Travel Agency by L.D. Lipinski, which is another Gavin recommendation. This one, so basically, like I was saying, like the hat makers, like I felt like it fell short on like the magic and whimsy I was promised, whereas I feel like the Strange World Travels Agency was exactly what I wanted it to be. And it had all the magic and whimsy, and I feel like it could have lent some of that to the hat makers, low-key. So I think this one was like more my vibe, so I don't know what that says, but yeah, maybe I need to be like, Gavin, dude, what's up? Because I don't know. Because I don't know, I just feel like I should have liked the other one. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out which, oh, sorry, I didn't tell you what all prompts those ones filled. So, The Spiderwick Chronicles filled a book that has illustrations, continue a series, read a TBR veteran, Strange World Travel Agency. The Strange World Travels Agency was for Set in a Faraway Place, which is very fitting since you go many different places. I think the reason I liked it so much, and I'm just now thinking about this, it really gave me Hitchhiker Galaxy vibes. Am I the only one, or is that true? Hitchhiker's Galaxy. It totally gave me those vibes. And I just recently read that for the first time. And I am obsessed. It's so good. Snap on the California Comet by M.G. Leonard, which, oh my god, I love these train books. They're so good. The second one in the series, and I read the first one like, I think last month, and it was so good. Outside your favorite genre, because my favorite genre is fantasy, and this was more like mystery and stuff, and I've just recently been getting into mystery type books. But yeah, I love this. I just think that the train books are so good, and they give me all the magical vibes and whimsy feelings, and I love the uncle. He's so fun. He reminds me of someone. I just can't put my finger on who it is. But he reminds me of like another character that's like very similar. But he's great and I love him a lot. So super into it. The next book I read was like not one I'd ever heard of, but it's called Jinx by Amy McCullen. This is a book that I read because it's for the, you know, the prompt that's like the same letter as your first name. My first name is Jessica. It's hard to find J books, which Jade was actually talking about in one of the lives she did with Gavin. She was like, listen, it's fucking hard out here for us. And I'm like, yes, girl, it is. But I found this just because I was looking on, I actually asked in the Discord and someone sent me a list that was like books that started with that letter that were middle grade. And I was like, thank you, because I tried finding something like this and I couldn't find it. So they found it for me, so that was nice. And this one was on it and it sounded really good. It's basically about this girl. And in her world, basically everybody has a fucking Pokemon. I mean, they're not Pokemon. They're actually machines. They're like little robots. And they come in the shape of animals. So there's like bird ones, rat ones. There's little beetles that'll hang on your ear. There's cats. There's bunnies. There's so many different kinds, and she ends up finding one, and she's like a tinkerer, so she can like put shit together and like make stuff. And so she finds a scrap one and she ends up putting it back together and like fixing it up so that she can go to this academy, and it's like a top tier one, and she gets in or whatever, and she ends up with this cat one who's just a troublemaker and doesn't listen to her like the best. And it's so great. This is one of my babies. She's so cute. Okay. Anyway. So I loved it. I thought it was so good. And I'm so excited for the sequel. I don't know if it's out or not, but I hope so. The next one I read was Both Can Be True by Jules Magnus, and this was for the Read Unknown Voices book prompt, and it's all about these two kids that are trying to save this dog that was about to get euthanized. One of them works at the vet clinic. They're becoming friends while they are trying to take care of this dog and figure out a long-term solution for her and all that stuff, and they end up developing feelings for each other, but Ash hasn't told Daniel that they sometimes feel like a girl and sometimes feel like a boy. So that's all that. It was really cute and I really liked it. Yeah. Read was Orin Lost by Alistair Chisholm, which was so good. It was so much better than I thought it was going to be. Oh my god. And I think it was because, listen, before November started, right before, I was reading Dune. And I was obsessed. I was loving it. And I had to put it down so that I could go all out for Believeathon. That's why I read 32 books this month. Yeah. Down. And all month I thought about it. I was just thinking about Dune all month. So, I really wanted some sci-fi. So, Orin Lost is a sci-fi, and it's basically about these kids that they're on a spaceship with their parents, and they're on their way to, like, a new planet. And they keep having to go into, like, this sleep. And it's, like, almost like they're cryogenically frozen type of deal. Anyway, so they go to the sleep. One time they wake up, and all the parents and stuff, all the adults are still asleep, and only they are awake. And it's not even all the kids, it's just a very select few. It's like maybe, I think it's like a group of 8 or something. It's very small. So, and bad shit keeps happening. And, you know, there's obviously an AI for the ship that's like helping them and stuff, but is it really? We don't know. It's that whole thing. But again, twists and turns, and just when you think you figured out what was actually happening, you're wrong. I love it when that happens. I love it when a book can like make me think that I'm smart and be like, I know the twist, and then no, you don't. You're fucking stupid. It's something completely different. So that was really good. The book I read was The Year of the Witching by Alex Henderson, which is not for Believeathon. I just read it because it was recommended on Professional Book Nerds podcast. And I needed something that wasn't middle grade. So I read that. And it was okay. It wasn't great. It was fine. But it wasn't my favorite thing ever. Orin Loss also was a read a 5-star prediction, which it was a 5-star, so that was good on me. And then the next book I read was Charlie Bone and the Castle of Mirrors. This was for read a childhood book because I read these books when I was in middle school and I loved them. They were all worth 10 AR points, which is why I read them. But I did actually end up enjoying them, but they were the ones that were worth the most AR points. But I love these books. I remember laying out in my hammock in the backyard reading these until the sun went down. So, Thanks a Lot Universe by Chad Lucas. This was so cute. It was also sad. Like, it was really sad, but it was so cute and just wholesome. And I just love the discussions in here, and I just love the characters, and I just love how, like, just so, like, I don't know. I just feel like things are better. I just feel like the next generation, maybe, is gonna be okay. But that was for Read a Contemporary. It was Dragon Mountain by Katie and Kevin Song, which this is all about these 4 kids that meet at a summer camp in China that is basically to help them learn Mandarin or to better improve their Mandarin. Our main character is a surfer from California, and he's like way more into that than he is learning Mandarin, but his parents really wanted him to do it because his dad is Chinese and they want him to be able to better connect to his culture and heritage. And he ends up meeting these 3 other kids, and they have this crazy adventure where they end up getting lost in the woods and they find dragons. It's real cute. It's real sweet. You should read it. I literally read this entire book in one sitting. So you should read it. It was The Bookshop of Dust and Dreams by Mindy Thomas, which is all about this girl who lives above the bookshop with her parents, and they own the bookshop, and basically the bookshop's magic. So how it works is that the bookshop's almost like alive, and it grows plants and stuff, and it'll do these things where it'll like comfort the customers and the people and like our main character who lives there and stuff. There's this story that they tell in the book about like how when she was a little girl and she was trying to learn how to walk, the bookshop invented fireflies so that she would toddle around following them so that she could learn to walk. And that makes me emotional. That's really cute and sweet. Basically the magic of the bookshop is that people can come into this bookshop from any time. So there's some people that are coming from the future, some people are coming from the past, things like that, and there's certain rules that they have to follow so they don't fuck up the space-time continuum, but for the most part, it's just really sweet and wholesome. There's a lot of deeper discussions going on in here, though, because there's quite a few sad things going on. Obviously, this takes place during, I mean, not obviously, I haven't told you this yet, but it takes place during World War II. For our main character, like her family, they are in World War II time, but like I said, customers can come from any time. Anyway, but yeah, there's just a lot going on in this book. I don't want to say too much more because I just want people to read it, but it's really good and you should read it and I love it, and yeah. By Eden Royce. This was another Gavin recommendation, and this one, I did really like it. It was really good. Basically, the magic they're doing is voodoo, but they never call it voodoo, and it's like they're basically showing you that culture and heritage and how that all came about and everything, which I thought was awesome. And I just love that talk of like how racism is a real thing, and like they're back in the time, I think they're right around the time when segregation is just ending. So it's just ending in their timeline. It's a really important book. I think everybody should read it, and I really enjoyed it. I especially love Doc, their uncle. He just, I don't know, he just, he gave me so many good vibes, and you could just tell how much he really loves his niece and nephew. And I also thought that the way that we talk about grief, because we open up the book with their grandmother just passing, and the girl, she was very close to her grandmother. They were like, that was basically like her best friend. It wasn't just her grandmother, it was her best friend in the entire world. And it's so sad. It's so sad. But it was really good. You guys should read it. I think you'll like it. It was Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library by Chris Grabstein. This was cute. This was fun. Basically, it's all about this kid who's not super into books, but he's really into these games that this guy, Mr. Lemoncello, has created. And there's basically a contest that the people who write the best essays will be able to take part in this library that Mr. Lemoncello has helped funded, because they haven't had a public library for like 10 years. And basically they all know that there's going to be a ton of games and fun stuff and extra stuff in the library, because Mr. Lemoncello is like basically a Willy Wonka type person, except with video games instead of candy. And that reference is made in the book. It's not just me saying that. So yes, it was really cute. I had a good time. This was another one I read pretty much in one sitting. So for a Spell by Karen Sutton. This was for the Polar prompt. Mr. Lemoncello was your most recent purchase, and Root Magic was a book with a 2-word title. Sorry, I forgot to keep doing that. A Wolf for a Spell was basically all about, it was following 3 timelines. So we're following Baba Yaga, we're following a wolf who is kind of on the outs with her pack right now, just because she doesn't completely agree with them that all humans are evil, because she ends up sparing this human girl. And we're also following, oh my god, I had it and then I started talking about the damn wolf. We're the girl that she spared. My god, we're following her too. And basically all of them intersect in a way. It's a whole thing. It was really good. I'm just tired and my throat hurts, so I can't keep talking. The next book I read was Story Thieves by James Riley. This was for the prompt of an anticipated read, because when I picked it up in the bookstore, I was like, oh my god, it sounds so good. And it's just another one of those books where they jump into a book and they get to live in that world for a while and everything. And this was so fun, and I want the next one. I think this is going to be a really great series. Yeah. Last one, thank God. The Mighty Heart of Sunny St. James by Ashley Herring Blake. This is for the prompt, a book featuring water. Heck yeah. I loved it. It's Ashley Herring Blake. It was so good. I cried. I always cry for Ashley Herring Blake's books, because oh my god, does she understand what I was like at 12 years old. I can't even begin to tell you guys how better my life would have been if I had had Ashley Herring Blake's books when I was this age. Like, wow. Yeah, so these books just mean a lot to me. I love them so much. They're always so good. And I love this character. Sunny St. James is so funny. She's very dry in some ways, but she's like very sarcastic and witty, and she's a lot more, what is the word I'm looking for? She's just a little morbid and stuff, but she's just a lot more mature than you would think she would be. That also has to do with the fact that she had just had a heart transplant when the book opens. She's having one in like the first chapter, because she had a heart disease, and a lot of the book is her coming to terms with the fact that whoever died to give her her heart was obviously around her age, and just like, you know, who that person would have been, and just, you know, she'll say things like, she'll almost talk to the heart like the heart is a different person, and be like, look at the beach, look at how beautiful it is. And it's It tugs at your heartstrings. It's so cute. She's also starting to like this girl who is new in town. She's visiting with her mom, who is like one of those ocean photographers, and they're just there for the summer. It's really good. It's really cute. You should read it. You should read all of Ashley Heron Blake, honestly. And that's it. Those are the 32 books I read in November. I'm so tired. My voice hurts. My throat hurts. Okay. Yeah. Let me know how you did on Believeathon. Please yell at me in the comments below about how insane it is that I read that many books. And, yeah. I will see you guys in another video, hopefully when my voice doesn't sound like this. Bye!